utgå. Jag hade velat sett det där. Fick man ta en av bilderna.
Check 1 2, checking 1 2, check 1 2, 1 2, 1 2, check 1 2.
1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. Hey Gordon, what's the hashtag for this shindig?
I think it's 2018 IIHF Worlds.
IIHF? IIHF?
IIHF Worlds. Worlds? No?
Nope. Well, it didn't pop up anyway.
Yeah, that's weird.
Here, just write it down. Ah.
welcome to the opening day of the 2018 World Hockey Championship. And to kick things off, two great rivals, Canada and the United States, will face off in the opener here in Herning, about a 3-hour train ride west of Copenhagen. Canada comes in with 3 consecutive medals. The United States last won a medal in 2015, a bronze in Prague. So a hotly anticipated matchup. The host team will play here tonight. Lots of people outside enjoying great weather and hockey festivities, Ray Ferraro.
They had this thing rolling pretty good here. The area around the rink is set up pretty well. We'll see more of it through the tournament, but there's going to be some people having a good time. They're starting to fill into the fan zone where they stay. They can stay here. There are all kinds of games and things, and a lot of people looking forward to seeing Connor McDavid, see Patrick Kane, players they don't get to see on a regular basis.
A real buzz around McDavid's arrival here, very similar to Sidney Crosby in Prague in 2015 and what you saw around that sort of aura of his when he comes over. And McDavid, who led the NHL in points in 2018 as a finalist for the Ted Lindsay Award for the most outstanding player in the league. And Patrick Kane, who was the MVP of the National Hockey League in 2016, a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, wears the C for Team USA. And now we will have recognition of 2 horrible losses really the last few months in the world of hockey prior to the start of this game.
Dear ice hockey fans, this year the hockey was struck by tragic losses in Canada and the United States. On the 21st of January, Jim Johansson, one of the world's most accomplished hockey executives, unexpectedly passed away at his home in the United States at the young age of 53. Then on the 6th of April, the hockey family was shocked by the tragic bus crash that occurred. Please stay on blue line. Please stay on blue line. Then on the 6th of April, the hockey family was shocked by the tragic bus crash that occurred in Canada, which claimed the lives of 16 members of the Humboldt Broncos ice hockey team. Please stand up, ladies and gentlemen, and join us in a moment of silence to remember these members of the hockey family who passed away. Thank you.
It really is a world community, as you see the referees, Antonin Jarabek from the Czech Republic, Linus Olin from Sweden, and coaching staffs wearing green ribbons in honor of the Humboldt Broncos. And remember Jim Johansson, who was the architect of the United States Olympic team for 2018 and a long-time player and executive with USA Hockey. So Patrick Kane and Connor McDavid will do the pregame honors.
And the defense, number 23, Alec Martinez, and number 14, Nick Jensen.
McDavid playing in his
The offense,
second World Championship, won gold with Canada in 2016 in Russia. Kane is back in the World Championship
and for the away team
for the second time in his career.
On goal, number 35, Darcy Kemper.
The United States, as the home team in this game, will have the last change, and we'll see if Jeff Blashill wants to chase the matchup against the McDavid line. It'll be McDavid along with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Jaden Schwartz, the forward line for Canada, to start things off. And the U.S. will bounce back with Dylan Larkin along with Cam Atkinson and Chris Kreider.
We talked to Dylan Larkin yesterday, and he said, as they were getting ready and now, focused on their first opponent, great, I got to chase around McDavid tomorrow and figure out how to stay in front of him. So,
and Larkin may be one of the few skaters in the National Hockey League who could keep up with McDavid. There's a cameraman still on the ice. So about to drop the puck here. who seems oblivious to all that's going on.
He's getting some good shots, though.
He is, but he needs to get off here. Referees are staring him down.
I think at this point the ref could probably skate over there and tell him you've fulfilled your duties. And
so Aaron Ekblad's going to go over and talk to him. So there's something you don't see every day in a hockey game. All right, set to go. Larkin against McDavid. And the 2018 Worlds are underway. Alec Martinez of the Los Angeles Kings have it up ahead to Larkin. He throws that rink wide. It's picked up by Kreider. And McDavid puts it back ahead to Schwartz. Poked ahead by Nick Jensen. And now picked up by McDavid. He finds Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Back at the point here. And Ekblad is shot saved by McKinnon. And on the rebound, tipped wide by Schwartz. An early chance there for the top line for Canada. Now McDavid back with it. Sends it back in front. And Ryan Murray, a backhand shot. As that defensive play was made by Chris Kreider.
Nice stop for Keith Kincaid. Kincaid played extensively last year for the United States in the World Championship. He has to stop Ekblad's wrist shot. You see Schwartz fishing around in the crease, looking for the rebound. It's tied up with Alex Martinez, but a nice play. Nugent-Hopkins over the line, pulls up and finds Ekblad. Canada almost with an early one.
Darnell Nurse pokes that in the corner now. Picked up by Pierre-Luc Dubois, and back at the line, Colton Parayko has that drift wide, and Dubois scores. Pierre-Luc Dubois on the rebound, and Canada opens the scoring 47 seconds in.
Well, after getting a chance on the first shift, Pierre-Luc Dubois cashes in on the second. Canada keeps the play alive. Nurse to Dubois. And this puck will actually bounce off. The Parayko shot is deflected. It bounces off the skate of Bo Horvat, and Dubois puts it up over top of Kincaid. When we were talking to Bill Peters before the game, he mentioned that this Horvat line with Pajot and Dubois was their best in their exhibition. They won, he said, almost every shift they played. Well, they've won their first shift here, and Canada's got a 1-0 lead.
Pierre-Luc Dubois, 20 goals, a rookie this year for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the third overall pick in the 2016 National Hockey League draft. Pretty good fourth line, if you want to call it that. Horvat, Dubois, and Pajot. Colton Parayko knocks it down, moved that by Colin White, and Dubois back on it. Pierre-Luc Dubois had a disappointing World Junior for Canada in 2017, kind of a down year for him overall, and fans in Columbus were wondering if they'd made the right pick. Well, looked like a pretty good pick this season, didn't it?
Well, they turned him into the #1 center there pretty quickly, and he had a terrific year with 20 goals.
Colin White feeds that back to Will Butcher of the New Jersey Devils, who flips that wide of the goal. You know, Kane in his first shift had that bounce away as Ryan O'Reilly brings it ahead. Playing in the World Championship for the 5th time in his career. He drops that back for Ryan Pulock, who puts that wide of the goal. And back to pick it up is Thomas Chabot of the Ottawa Senators. Chabot drops it back for Braden Shen. I mentioned when Sidney Crosby came to the World Championship in 2015, the guy who lost his spot in the lineup was Braden Shen, who did so without complaint, was the extra forward for Canada, and went on to win a gold medal, and Shen was a great teammate along the way.
That didn't take long, Gord.
Too many men on the ice will be called against Canada as the puck struck the Canadian player coming off the bench, and the United States will get the power play 2 minutes and 6 seconds in.
We talk about often in international play, there's very little leeway. When there's a change at the bench, you have to be much more alert and sharp than you do at home. There's almost no leeway. The pass here goes through the feet of Beauvillier and ends up hitting the Canadian forward coming onto the ice. Matthew Barzal will serve the minor. So the U.S., their first power play of the tournament, and it's got Kane and Goudreau on the ice, and you know where the puck's going to be working around as quickly as they get it set up.
Pajot knocks it free. Bo Horvat got away, but it's knocked down and kept onside by Kane. For Anders Lee, in shoots, and the glove save made by Darcy Kemper, the Canadian netminder, native of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Began the year with the Los Angeles Kings, ended it with the Arizona Coyotes.
And stop on Anders Lee, who had 40 goals with the Islanders. It's his first touch of the puck.
And now Lee wins the draw to Kane, who taps it back, but it gets by Butcher. What a year for Will Butcher as a rookie in the National Hockey League. 9 assists in his first 6 games with New Jersey. A year ago, he was a national champion at the University of Denver and the Hobey Baker Award winner as the top player in U.S. college hockey. Johnny Goodrow taken down by Ekblad, and O'Reilly has it back, flips it back to center.
That's a really good play. Ekblad just closed Goodrow down. There was nowhere for him to go.
And now Schwartz with a steal shorthanded. And Jaden Schwartz pokes that back to Darnell Nurse. And he'll wrist it back down the ice onto Kincaid, who leaves it there for his New Jersey teammate Butcher. Butcher was drafted by Colorado, elected not to sign with them, became an unrestricted free agent, and went with New Jersey. Alex DeBrincat, lead pass for Larkin, and shoots, and that goes wide. Now Larkin has it skipped by him, and back to pick it up is Quinn Hughes, the 18-year-old who played for Team USA in the World Junior Championship in Buffalo this year.
He won't last long in the draft this year.
An underage freshman at the University of Michigan, went as a 17-year-old, and play called at the Canadian line.
It seems most likely he'll be in the top 10 or so of the draft, and his younger brother Jack was just the top scorer at the U18 tournament in Russia. He's going to be higher in the draft than the top 10 of next year. He's right at the peak of it, quite a player.
Derek Ryan and take the face-off against Pajot. 43 seconds left, and the Canadian bench penalty for 2 men on the ice as Kincaid is back to pick it up. Loose at the side of the goal, and Kincaid had to sweep that away from Pajot, and a penalty coming now to Team USA. It'll be a trip that'll end the power play that had 32 seconds remaining. And it will be Quinn Hughes who goes off.
Team USA number 43, 2 minutes tripping.
Well, there's the penalty back behind the net, and Canada does a terrific job giving up just the one shot on that. The Anders Lee wrister that Kemper had to handle, and big ice, and Connor McDavid gets more of it.
So now 4-on-4 for 32 seconds. And McDavid out there is Blake Coleman has shown out for Team USA. Get used to it. If you think they call it tight in the National Hockey League tossing centers, welcome to international hockey. Nugent Hopkins off the face-off win by McDavid. Loose in the corner with it. Feeds it back to Parayko. Drops it back across to Nurse into the slot for McDavid. That pass picked off by Kane, but McDavid steals it right back. In comes McDavid. Gets the puck in the corner away from Coleman. McDavid steps around Butcher. Throws it back in front for Nurse. And Darnell centers a tip right on. Nugent Hopkins turned away in tight by Kincaid, who makes the point-blank save.
Well, both teams will talk about their unfamiliarity with each other and their lineups, and they expect to get better as the tournament goes along. There's 3 Edmonton Oilers on the ice here: McDavid, Nurse, and Nugent Hopkins, along with Colton Parayko. They move the puck around in a real sharp play from Nurse to Nugent Hopkins, who really found his stride in Edmonton in the last quarter of the year when they moved him to the wing with McDavid. They had been searching for someone to play with McDavid, and I think the one thing that Nugent Hopkins has is he can think along the lines that McDavid can. You can have skill, but you got to be able to think at the same pace as McDavid does.
Barzal back on. Canada the power play for 1 minute and 23 seconds. McDavid drops it back to Colton Parayko, who arrived late in the tournament last year and started firing BBs from the point. McDavid plays it back, and walking in is Nugent Hopkins. That shot was blocked by Connor Murphy.
Now, when Parayko showed up, they fed him a one-timer right off the plane, and they never stopped. It was a nice addition to Canada late in the tournament.
And now McDavid moves by Coleman. Jumping in across the line is Connor McDavid. Working below the goal line, more room for him to operate now as McDavid drops it back. Parayko into the corner for Nugent Hopkins. Sends it back in front of pad, saved by Kincaid, and the rebound cleared away by White. Back goes Parayko, being shadowed there by Coleman. 30 seconds to go in the Canadian power play. Parayko. The St. Louis Blues up for Ryan O'Reilly to Matt Barzal. His pass picked off, moved to the line, but not out by Alec Martinez. Now at center ice, O'Reilly hands it back for Josh Bailey. The New York Islanders ahead to Matt Barzal. That was knocked away. And busting in now is Brian Gibbons, as that's flipped away by Kemper. Barzal leaves it there to O'Reilly. Final seconds now of the power play. In comes Aaron Ekblad, winding his way in. Ekblad drops it back at the point. And Chabot with a shot that deflects wide. 2 shots for Canada on that power play. It remains a 1-0 Canadian lead. Ekblad down to O'Reilly. Throws it back in front of backhand shot. Oh, what a save there by Kincaid on Schenn. The goal horn sounds, the light comes on, but Kincaid kept it out.
Well, Kincaid has been outstanding here in the first 6 minutes. He's made about 4 stops that could have stretched this game out already.
Jordan Osterley plays that ahead to Neil Pionk of the New York Islanders. Now Pulock up ahead for Jean-Gabriel Pageau. Pageau drops it back for Parayko. In shoots and a glove save by Kincaid. He'll hang on to that. 1-0 Canada leads here in Herning, Denmark. There is Braden Schenn, the Saskatoon native, playing in the World Championship for the 4th time in his career. Part of Canada's silver medal winning team last year. Won a gold in 2015, as you mentioned. Gave up his spot in the lineup to Sidney Crosby. And Canada with the early advantage here, and Russia has an early 1-0 lead on France in Copenhagen. McDavid wins that draw cleanly back to Nurse. Back in the corner for Schwartz, centers it. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins goes diving in, but as he does, a crease violation called against Canada, and the face-off will come outside.
The U.S. has not been able to keep up here in the first 6.5 minutes. McDavid cleanly wins the draw, and they get Nugent-Hopkins going right to the front of the net as he and Martinez fight for position. But because Nugent-Hopkins settles into the blue, look, he gets in there and ends up on top of the goaltender. They blow the play down, but it's been a really good start for Canada here.
Alec Martinez chips that ahead for Kreider, and waiting for it is Kemper. Across to Nurse, flips it ahead for Nugent-Hopkins. That bounced away, and the shot by Atkinson is gloved by Darcy Kemper. There is the goal scorer for Canada, the still 19-year-old Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Dubois took that loose puck off the skate of Horvat and beat Kincaid up over the glove. And at the time, that was quite a bold pick, with most thinking Jesse Puljujarvi was going to go in the 3 spot, but Jarmo Kekalainen and the Blue Jackets selected Dubois. In his first year, he becomes their top centerman.
Russia, by the way, has scored twice in 70 seconds to take a 2-0 lead on France. Now Horvat chips it there for Dubois, back for Pageau, Jean-Gabriel Pageau. Across to Aaron Ekblad. That shot goes off the stick of Tage Thompson, back in the corner for Dubois. Feeds it back around for Horvat, and now Ekblad races back to it. In behind the goal is Dubois, Pierre-Luc Dubois. Backhands it back in the corner. Hughes got bumped there by Pageau. Walking out in front is Horvat with a chance. That goes wide. And now Ryan Murray has it back in deep for Pageau. So Flips it back for Dubois. Across to Ekblad. His wrist shot floats wide, and now Horvat back on it. Bo Horvat, a centering pass, and off the bench comes Anthony Beauvillier. And Beauvillier pivots back in the corner. Canada changing on the fly. Here's Beauvillier. Swings it down to Horvat. Horvat drops it off for Jordan Eberle. He was tied up. Now Ryan Pulock works it, winds and shoots, and Kincaid knocked that away. Moved around by DeBrincat trying to get it up. And now Chabot has it back for Canada. Thomas Chabot, the MVP of the 2015 World Junior Championship, the first defenseman, 2017 rather, the first defenseman ever to win the World Junior MVP award. Drops it back for Nurse. Up to Matt Barzal with Eberle and Beauvillier. Three Islanders together for the moment. And now it's brought back by Johnny Gaudreau. Gaudreau drops it back to Kane. A cross ice pass, and Colin White misfired on that. Barzal, rink wide for Nurse, who's jumped in. Canada changing again as Nurse pivots back. Brings it around for Barzal, left there for Parayko. In the corner for Barzal. Matt Barzal to Parayko, a centering pass, chopped on goal by O'Reilly and knocked away by Kincaid. Colin White bumped there by Josh Bailey, and Parayko swings it back across to Nurse. The shots are officially 9-1 in favor of Canada. The U.S. has had more than one shot, though. Haven't they? I think it was the Lee one.
That's the one.
Is that it?
There was one floater that they might have said was wide of the net. They haven't had much.
Now Schenn feeds it across, and Bailey trying to tap that pass.
Oh, Bailey had a chance to shoot the puck. He went for one more pass.
In comes Blake Coleman with it now. And Nugent Hopkins gathers it back up. Ryan Nugent Hopkins across to Pulock. And Ryan Pulock for the New York Islanders for his New York teammate Josh Bailey. And now Chabot back with it. Thomas Chabot. Up ahead to Nugent Hopkins. Across the line they go. And Connor McDavid was a half step ahead. The play is called offside.
I've been really impressed here with the way Canada has skated in the early portion of the game, but they get beat up the ice here. It's a 3-on-2. Gaudreau, Kane, and Colin White. Colin White has got this gift assignment playing in the middle of those two guys, and he misses connecting on this one-timer as the feed comes across from right to left in front of Darcy Kemper.
Ekblad off a face-off win by McDavid, sends it back into the U.S. zone as Nugent Hopkins goes after it, trying to find Jaden Schwartz. Schwartz pivots back in the corner. Lays it down to Nugent Hopkins. He finds some room and taps it back to Schwartz. Tied up by Larkin. Now back at the point, fired back in by Ryan Murray. Nugent Hopkins feeds it back to Murray, walks in, waits and shoots. Kincaid makes the save. The rebound cleared by Martinez. And Larkin back on it, backhands it off the boards and back down the Canadian line. Ekblad being forced there by the speedy Chris Kreider. Centers it, but Dubois picks it off for Canada. Up for McDavid. And now Dubois walks in and fires. He lifted that high and wide. Jordan Oesterle of the Chicago Blackhawks spins away from Jean-Gabriel Pageau, but now Horvat back on it. And Nurse spins it back. Another goal for the Russians. 3 minutes for a 3-0 lead on France. Alex DeBrincat, the outstanding rookie for the Chicago Blackhawks, plays it in. And now Derek Ryan has that knocked away. Ryan tries to drop that back for DeBrincat. Rink wide he goes. And now a chance in front for Ryan, turned away in tight by Kemper. And at the line, Neil Pionk can't hold it. Pionk's been part of this year with the New York Rangers and their Hartford American League affiliate. As the centering pass goes to Ryan, he taps that wide. Anders Lee back on it. To DeBrincat. Alex DeBrincat centers it, goes off the leg of Lee and back to Oesterle. To Connor Murphy. His long shot goes wide. Lee back on it. Good pressure now by Team USA, but Beauvillier picks it up. Now for Jordan Eberle, who chips it back to center ice.
The U.S.'s best shift of the game, Derek Ryan's group with DeBrincat and Lee.
Ryan drops it back to Murphy for Kane. And Patrick Kane back in the corner. Connor Murphy got bumped there. The centering pass just missed White, who'd come off the bench. And now Beauvillier works it back. A centering pass, and Barzell fans on the one-timer. Back comes Kane the other way. He's got Goodrow with him. Patrick Kane spins back. White jumps in. In the slot as well. Butcher shoots at the goalpost. Butcher rings it right off the pipe, or so it seemed. That looked like it might have been in. The referee waved it off right away, but
if that hit the post, oh.
Now a loose puck back in front. Josh Bailey turned away by Kincaid. Rebound, score! Ryan O'Reilly taps it home. 2-0 Canada.
This is a crazy bounce. The puck's outside the U.S. blue line. It hits a skate and bounces back to Josh Bailey, who's standing right in front of the goaltender. Because Canada didn't handle the puck outside the line, the play continues. Bailey was 40 feet offside, but the puck wasn't handled, so he stays onside. Here's the Butcher chance. Oh, right off the right post. Kemper doesn't see it. And here's the play where Goodrow tries to handle the puck. He's outside the line. He burps it up, and the puck comes all the way back to Josh Bailey. Ryan O'Reilly joins the play as Bailey keeps it alive, and O'Reilly scored a break for Canada. They give up a chance off the post, and then the puck stays in play on a opportunity that looks like it's going to be 20 feet offside, but Bailey to O'Reilly, and it's 2-0.
Whether it was Todd McClellan in Russia or Bill Peters, Todd McClellan in Prague, Bill Peters in Russia, John Cooper last year, everyone's had Ryan O'Reilly has come away monstrously impressed with him as a player and a person.
He does so many things for his team, and you know, in Buffalo this year, he took about 2,000 face-offs, and
Thomas Chabot shoots, and that's knocked away by Larkin.
A lot of attention on his comments at the end of the year. He just struck me as a guy that was worn down by another miserable year, but the guy is a player. He can fill many different roles. He got 60 points again this year in Buffalo.
It's his 14th goal in 46 games for Canada at the World Championship, so a 2-0 lead. We're nearly going here on the opening day of the 2018 World Championship. Dubois for Horvat, trying to pull that around Hughes. And now Pionk has it back. A body slam there by Dubois. And Parayko shoots, that goes wide. Nurse steps up, and Pajot backs him up. 13-2, the shots in favor of Canada. As Kincaid rattles that very high off the glass.
The glass is low on the side where Kincaid shot that too. It's lower than at the back behind the net. Somebody's going to get burned shooting the puck over that.
Anders Lee works in with Pionk. Lee in, shoots, scores! Anders Lee snaps it by Kemper, and the United States is on the board, down 2-1.
40 goals for Anders Lee this year with the New York Islanders. A real sweet play in the middle of the ice by Tage Thompson. He's going off on a change, and Thompson from the St. Louis Blues holds the puck. Little backhand flip to Lee that opens up the 2-on-1. Here's Thompson. Little touch pass right here. Nurse is caught, and Lee beats Kemper clean on the blocker off the side, posted in. And the U.S. totally outplayed in this first period, is now down just one on Anders Lee's first of the tournament.
Lee playing in the World Championship for the third time, took part in 2015 and 2017. She mentioned 40 goals this year after 34 the year before. As DeBrincat moves it ahead to Lee.
Canada 2. At the time, 13:59.
Murray fires that down, and Kincaid has to play it. Got it by O'Reilly. And now Lee back on it. That bump there by Shen. O'Reilly plays it back to Ekblad. Aaron Ekblad, a career-high 16 goals this year for the Florida Panthers. He's had 10-plus goals in each of his 4 seasons in the NHL. Now Butcher drops it off to Goodrow. Johnny Goodrow back for Butcher. His centering pass finds Goodrow, and the pass goes just out of the reach of DeBrincat. O'Reilly shovels that back down to the American line to Connor Murphy, playing his 5th consecutive World Championship for Team USA. White up ahead to Goodrow. Johnny Goodrow plays it back across, and Kane missed that.
Well, that line's had 2 one-timers right on the doorstep and fired on both of them.
White missed, and then Kane. Now for a sharp angle, it's centered by Osterley. That goes just wide, and Eberle pokes it into Beauvillier with Barzell. Right up by Pionk. And now Patrick Kane winds it back in for Goodrow. Johnny Goodrow walks in. He's stripped there by Jordan Eberle. A lead pass finds Beauvillier. In alone, Anthony Beauvillier backhand shot stopped by Kincaid. No shortage of scoring chances here in the opening 20 minutes.
Metro Division rivals there as Beauvillier breaks in clean and Kincaid makes yet another excellent stop. What a heads-up play from Eberle. The puck was turned over and he made a pass that cleared the neutral zone to find Beauvillier clean behind the U.S. defense.
Nugent Hopkins chips it ahead to McDavid. Moving in on Nick Jensen. Now Larkin picks it off. McDavid's on him. And the referee gives him a warning about the stick. And now with Canada changing, brought in quickly by Kreider. Chris Kreider works in on Shabbat. Kreider drops it down to Larkin. And Larkin feeds it back to Kreider. A shot that hit the foot of Jaden Schwartz. And now Schwartz moves his way back ahead. Finds McDavid. Off pass. McDavid put that high and wide.
What a look from Schwartz, and creative to figure a way to get the puck to McDavid.
And in comes Larkin now along with Atkinson. And that puck dribbles on goal. It was his chip there by Gibbons, turned away by Kemper. Brought back in by Dubois. That goes right down to the American net, and Kincaid will hang on to that. Two. Welcome back to Herning, Denmark. One of the co-hosts for this 2018 World Hockey Championship. Copenhagen is the other. Lots of Canadians in evidence here, and lots of scoring chances in the first period. Anders Lee has the USA goal. They've had close-in chances for Colin White and Patrick Kane. And Canada had a breakaway for Anthony Beauvillier, turned away a moment ago.
Canada could have 5 here in the first period. Kincaid, who had an outstanding second half of the year. Unbelievably, the Devils didn't get a win from Corey Schneider from December the 27th on, and Kincaid pushed them into the playoffs. He had an outstanding run for the Devils.
And then lost the net in the playoffs back to Schneider, so all kinds of questions about next year. Blake Coleman throws that back in front, and Kemper shut that down. Ryan Murray, the Columbus Blue Jackets, ahead to Ryan O'Reilly. The play called offside at the Team USA line. O'Reilly, the 27-year-old from Clinton, Ontario. A kid he grew up with is going to play in this tournament for Korea. Matt Dalton, Korean goaltenders, also from Clinton. As you see, Jeff Blashill coaching the U.S. team for the second straight year. They finished 5th last year in Paris and Cologne.
Lost in the quarters to Finland 2-1.
Went 6-0-1 in the opening round. Looked very good.
But we know once you get into the one and outs, and obviously they were in the game against the Finns, just couldn't find a way for another goal.
Prior to this run of 2 goals and a silver for Canada, they'd lost in the quarters in 5 consecutive years. Scramble drop picked off by Nurse. Ahead to Matt Barzell with 20 more points than any other National Hockey League rookie this year. Beauvillier back to Barzell. Connor Murphy up ahead for Kane, and Kane was ahead with Goodrow. Chips it ahead. Goodrow has Larkin with him, and the puck knocked away by Nurse. time we saw Darnell Nurse play for Canada was the 2015 World Junior Championship as he became Canada's shutdown D-man on that team that included Connor McDavid and a host of other young stars. As Barzal works in and shoots, he fired that wide, and Kincaid scoops that away. Now picked up by Martinez. Out to center ice, it goes right to Kane. Kane flips it back ahead, the pass out of the reach of Larkin. And Dylan Larkin centers it, goes off the skate of Kane. And Beauvillier has it up for Eberle to Barzal. And Kincaid leaves it there for Nick Jensen. Wait till the U.S. plays Denmark, and there's 3 Nick Jensens in the game.
That lineup is a nightmare.
A lot of Jensens, Larsons.
Not only are there a lot of Jensens, there appears there's only a couple of first names you can have as well.
Coleman moves it back across to Lee. That pass picked off by Schwartz. Up to McDavid, and Connor McDavid pokes that ahead. And Butcher had to get the emergency swing out to knock that away. To break it to Murphy to Lee. 80 seconds to go in the opening period. Nugent Hopkins comes in for it. The play called offside at the Canadian line. You're watching the 2018 World Hockey Championship from Denmark. Canada leads here in the opening period of day 1 of the 2018 World Hockey Championship. Canada opened the scoring on a goal by Pierre-Luc Dubois, followed by Ryan O'Reilly. Anders Lee has drawn the United States back within 1. Aaron Ekblad plays it to Ryan Murray up ahead for Bo Horvat. 2 pools of 8 teams. Top 4 in each group advance to the quarterfinals. And it's single elimination after this preliminary round. Canada is 19-1-1 the last 3 years in the opening round of this tournament. Lost to Switzerland in overtime last year. And then lost a shootout to the Swedes in the gold medal game. And icing call against Team USA with 44.8 seconds left. Connor Murphy's dad, Ford Murphy, a longtime National Hockey League player. And Jeff Blashill looks on, 3rd year of head coach in Detroit. Prior to that, 3 years as the head coach of the Grand Rapids Griffins of the American League. Won a championship there in 2013 with your son playing for him.
Yeah, he did a great job in Grand Rapids, and he's come to Detroit, and they made the playoffs the 1 year, and then it was time to move, time to build, time to change, and a little more pressure on them, I think, this year as they've really started to try to push to the younger players. Detroit will be far younger next year.
Parayko plays that down to Nugent Hopkins. Ryan Nugent Hopkins pivots around Butcher, throws it back in front, just missed Nurse, who had pitched in. And a chance there for Atkinson, couldn't quite get away. Now McDavid back with it with Team USA changing. Across to Nugent Hopkins, feeds it back in front. And that was knocked down for the moment by Nick Jensen. Now Schwartz knocked down that clearing attempt in the corner. Butcher couldn't contain it. And McDavid pivots back in the corner. Final seconds now of the period. And Team Canada will go to the dressing room with a 2-1 lead after the opening 20. Our first intermission with Laura Dyke and Dave Reed coming up from the 2018 World Hockey Championship.
checking his headset. Check, 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 check,
Check, check, check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Hey, 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 hey.
Yeah, I think, no, that sounds fine. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, tomorrow, yeah. We got 100 games, Benny.
Here in Herning, Denmark, the opening day of the 2018 World Hockey Championship. Team Canada leads Team USA by a score of 2-1. Keith Kincaid under siege in that opening period, faced 15 Canadian shots. Turned away an Anthony Beauvillier breakaway chance. He's got three guys in the corner wearing Jim Craig jerseys cheering for him. Always a good sign.
There's all kinds of costumes around here.
We saw a guy wearing a suit made entirely of Danish flags. It was quite something. There is Bill Peters, a native of Three Hills, Alberta, just up the road from Calgary, where he'll be coaching the Flames this coming season after being in Carolina. 4 years the coach of the Hurricanes, exercised an option to leave that team and signed with the Calgary Flames. Alec Martinez drops it back for Cam Atkinson. Atkinson wearing number 89 for Team USA. He wanted 13. So normally if two players arrive with a new team at the same time, whoever's got more games played in the NHL gets the pick. As the centering pass goes to McDavid, poke check there by Kincaid.
That's an aggressive play for Kincaid. McDavid was all by himself.
So Atkinson tried that argument on Johnny Gaudreau, who said, I've played more games for Team USA, I got 13. Larkin set it back in front, and back at the point. Osterling a drive, Kemper can't hold on, and Larkin scores. The tying goal goes to Dylan Larkin, 2-2, 43 seconds into the second period.
Dylan Larkin played center for the first time full-time last year at the World Championships. Jeff Blashill played him in the middle, knowing they were going to use him in the middle of the ice exclusively in Detroit. Larkin starts the play, but it's a really nice effort by Atkinson to get to the puck. He keeps the play alive, and Kreider tips the point shot from Osterley. It goes through Darcy Kemper's legs, and Dylan Larkin happens to be standing there. Remember, Larkin started the play, he was on his knees, got back to his feet, came back to the crease to tap it in. And the U.S. has 2 goals on 6 shots, and after a dominant first period, the game's tied.
Larkin playing in his 4th consecutive World Championship for Team USA. That's 5 goals in 29 games for him in the competition. And that comes moments after the Kincaid poke check on McDavid. Now Dubois works in, shoots, and Kincaid reaches up, gets the paddle on that. Jean-Gabriel Pageau, rink wide to Bo Horvat. Horvat a long wrist shot, that goes just wide. 2-2 to score here in the second period. And the shots 15-6 in favor of Canada. Both teams have scored in the opening minute of periods. Canada in the first, now the U.S. in the second.
And the U.S. has moved Blake Coleman into the spot that Colin White was playing between Kane and Gaudreau. White was on for both goals against in the first period.
Thomas Chabot spins back along the board, centers it, and Ryan O'Reilly wins that battle for the puck with Osterley. Pass goes back at the point. That long shot floats wide off the stick of Ryan Pulock. Josh Bailey feeds it back for Chabot. High off the glass, and now Shen goes digging for it. Osterley takes it away and finds Goodrow. And Johnny Goodrow plays it back to the Canadian zone. Chabot had to poke that away from Derek Ryan. Now DeBrincat brings it in. Alex DeBrincat winds his way in, and DeBrincat flipped that just wide. DeBrincat's first year in junior hockey was Connor McDavid's last. They were teammates with the Erie Otters. And DeBrincat put up some monster numbers in the OHL. In comes Beauvillier again. Beauvillier behind Butcher, and Butcher comes back and gets a stick on that. Murphy up ahead, Anders Lee. Now Beauvillier chops it down. The puck loose at the American line. Derek Ryan, former Spokane Chief and University of Alberta Golden Bear. Played 4 years there, then went to Europe for 4 years. Before finally signing as a free agent with the Hurricanes. Bill Peters coached him in junior hockey and gave him a chance in Carolina.
After he had a couple of good years in Europe, 3 in Austria, 1 in Sweden, then he went to the American League. Played the last couple of years, 153 games in Carolina. Unrestricted free agent. There'll be some interest in him.
Now Tage Thompson walks in off the initial save by Kemper. He lifted that high and wide. And Thompson back with it. So in period 2 of game 1, Jeff Blashill's got the blender out already.
Well, he flipped Coleman and White. So White moved to the line with Tage Thompson and Brian Gibbons. There's Anthony Beauvillier, who had a terrific year with New York. He dodges around Ryan. He's got a clean lane, but Will Butcher comes back, defends it perfectly, gets a stick out and deflects this away. And Patrick Kane comes back when Dubois is close to the net for a shot. Kane lifts his stick, the puck slides off of Dubois' stick, and he ends up shooting the second opportunity off the side of the net.
Now Nick Jensen walks in, drops it off to Kane. Patrick Kane. That wrist shot goes off a skate high and wide. Picked up now by Goodrow. Johnny Goodrow in the corner for Coleman. Beauvillier trying to work it free. Now Coleman, native of Plano, Texas, suburb of Dallas. Grew up there with Stephen Nason. They wind up playing not just on the same team, but the same line in New Jersey. As McDavid works in. Drops it back for Schwartz. Canada changing it. Jaden Schwartz holds. Feeds that back to Parayko. That was knocked down by Kane. Quickly ahead with Goodrow. In comes Patrick Kane. Turned away by Parayko. And now Kane throws it down, picked off by Schwartz. Late pass to Nugent Hopkins. Darnell Nurse jumps in for Canada. And Nugent Hopkins finds McDavid. McDavid in, shoots. That was blocked in front. As Osterley got a stick on that. Now Larkin waits for it. Being watched there by Darnell Nurse. That pass almost picked off by Horvat. And Osterley plays it back down to the Canadian zone. An icing call against Team USA.
The U.S. has been pretty sloppy defensively, yet they've got themselves back into a 2-2 tie. Connor McDavid in the first seconds of this second period is all by himself. Keith Kincaid shovels it off his stick, and the play comes back down the ice, and the U.S. ties the score as Dylan Larkin's able to pitch it into the empty net.
Face-off won by Pajot, played back in by Pulock. Thomas Chabot plays it back down low to Pierre-Luc Dubois. Dubois to Pulock, winds and shoots. Kincaid got a piece of that. It skips back to Horvat. A centering pass broken up there by Larkin. And Larkin, they harassed there by Dubois. Under pressure, plays it across to Quinn Hughes. Atkinson takes the return pass from Kreider, walks in and shoots, and Kemper knocks that away. Dubois, who opened the scoring 43 seconds into the game, drops that back, and Chabot has it back for Canada. Chabot moves around Atkinson. Winds in, poke check there by Lee. And now O'Reilly comes in for it. Drops it back to Murray. His shot goes off the stick of Lee and wide. And Butcher flips it ahead to Atkinson. Now Bailey throws it back down to Shen with a quick shot, and Kincaid makes the glove save.
Great play by Ryan Murray to keep that puck alive. And another good save for Kincaid, this one off a shin.
New Jersey authored an astonishing second half drive for a playoff spot. As you mentioned, Ray, the goaltending of Kincaid was the backbone of it. Ekblad, who played nearly half the first period, led all players at 9.5 minutes. Flips that in, now Murphy brings it back.
If you got any jet lag left, that's one way to work it out of you.
Canada had their training camp in Latvia. Arrived here yesterday. As Barzal works in, Matt Barzal. Bumped there by Nick Jensen. And Tage Thompson, lead pass for Colin White. White sends it back in front. That pass just missed the stick of Brian Gibbons. This is a fast game.
They are going up and down the ice. You turn the puck over and it is a track meet to the other end of the ice.
Shabbat lifts that down. That goes Pionk for it. Now the pass almost picked off there by Nugent Hopkins. Nurse has it back. Neil Pionk, out of Hermantown, Minnesota. It his rookie year, partly with the Rangers this year. And half with Hartford of the American Hockey League.
Really was a nice story for the Rangers as they start their rebuild and retool. Pionk became a regular for them.
Now McDavid is Schwartz, loose puck in front. Nugent Hopkins turned away in tight by Kincaid. And Pionk back on it, banks it off the glass and out to center. And Parayko back to pick it up. Shots even at 2 here in the period. 17-7 overall in favor of Canada. Pajot up for Dubois. Takes that pass from Horvat. Walks in and trying to center it. Couldn't reach Pajot with it. Now Larkin spun around. Plays it back to center. Nurse knocks it down. Martinez back for it. Murphy rings it around. Trying to find Kreider at center ice. Chips it in for Goodrow. Ekblad closes on him. Johnny Goodrow for the trailer. Just missed that pass from Martinez. Big wide pass picked off by Goodrow. By the way, the other thing that helped Goodrow get number 13, the equipment man from Calgary is working for Team USA here. He'd already made a number 13 for Goodrow. Possession being 9/10 of the law.
The equipment guys are the guys you got to be tight with.
Bailey plays it across and a hard shot taken there by O'Reilly. And Kincaid hangs on with 11:31 to go here in the second. Face off in the American zone. 11.5 to go here in the second period. Canada and the United States tied at 2 on the opening day of the World Hockey Championship in Copenhagen. Russia has a 3-0 lead on France. They announced that score here in this building and said the score in Copenhagen is 3-0. Couldn't say who was playing or who was ahead, but
they weren't incorrect.
Well, it's exactly. The score is 3-0. 3 goals in just over 3 minutes for the Russians in the opening period there. Later tonight in this building, Germany plays Denmark, the host Danes.
Not only just the host, several players from Herning here.
Freddie Anderson, the goaltender, Franz Nielsen. And in Copenhagen, Sweden will take on Belarus. As Aaron Ekblad pounded that wide, and Kincaid was late to see that. Now Ryan Murray a long shot, and Kincaid makes the stop. Herning is a smaller city, but perhaps the smallest ever to host games at the World Hockey Championship. But this is the heart of hockey in this country. We mentioned Freddie Anderson's from here, Frans Nielsen. The Herning Blue Fox are a perennial power in the Danish league. And the game in Copenhagen tonight with Sweden will be like a home game for them. Right across the bridge from Malmo, Sweden. Lots of Germans here in the parking lot this morning. As Bailey works in. Josh Bailey centers it for Schenn. Back to Murray. Ryan Murray drops it back to Ekblad. A long wrist shot that was off the foot of Anders Lee and wide. Schenn digging for it. Tied up there by Ryan. And Braden Schenn. Extraneous music playing as the puck floats down to Kincaid and goes just wide.
You want to bet what the next song is at a break?
I think I know. Quinn Hughes goes back for it. The 18-year-old grew up in Orlando, Florida. And his dad, Jimmy, has got a job with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Quinn and his brother Jack played lots of minor hockey in the Toronto area. You mentioned Jack will be a top pick in the 2019 National Hockey League draft. Quinn up for the 2018 draft in a couple of months. In comes Jordan Eberle with Anthony Beauvillier. Osterley knocked that down, but Barzal picks it off. Matt Barzal taken down by Coleman. The referee shakes his head and says play on. Kane chips it ahead to Coleman. Blake Coleman to Patrick Kane. Backdoor pass for Goodrow, scores! Johnny Goodrow slips it by Kemper, and the United States has grabbed the lead.
We talked about Jeff Blashill making this change. He took Colin White out of the middle of the ice and put Blake Coleman here. You want to be a good centerman playing with great wingers, you don't carry the puck too far. So Blake Coleman has the puck. He gets it up into the middle of the ice. Watch Coleman, 25. He's going to come out. He's in position on the breakout, and he's going to start it. Now it gets to Kane at the blue line. He goes to the middle of the net. You're like a stunt dummy at that point. You're not getting the puck. You go and you drive the defense back. This is a terrific play by Coleman, and then you let Kane and Goudreau do what they do best. And Goudreau puts this in a space the size of the puck. I mean, there was nowhere for this to go, but the U.S. has a 3-2 lead. 2 goals here in the first 10 minutes of period 2.
Johnny Goodrow played the World Hockey Championship in 2014. He had 10 points in 8 games back then. Kane's in the World Championship for the first time since 2008. Been busy in the playoffs most years with the Chicago Blackhawks.
He was really enthusiastic when we talked to him, excited to play in this tournament.
In comes McDavid, that's knocked away by Kincaid. McDavid flips it back to Nugent Hopkins. He works free, a poke check in the last moment by Martinez. And now moved over the head of Nurse back down the ice, and icing called against the United States as Martinez set it down.
84 points for Goudreau, the 4th round pick out of 2011. What a pick that's turned out to be for Calgary as he waits in position and he finds the smallest of spaces in front of Anthony Beauvillier to beat Darcy Kemper. Curtis McElhaney is the backup for Bill Peters. Peters said they'd go with Kemper today and then make a decision where they're going to go from there. It seems likely you'll see both guys for sure. Both McElhaney and Kemper backups this year with their respective teams. The 3rd goaltender is Michael DiPietro, plays junior, still a Vancouver Canucks draft pick. They're a very highly touted player.
Now Dubois being bumped there by Jensen. Dubois centers it for Horvat. It bounces around in front, poked away for the moment by Nick Jensen, to move ahead to Larkin. Rink wide, he goes to Kreider. In on Pollock.
Joel Quenneville. And
Nugent Hopkins feeds it across to Parayko on the point in this Canadian power play. Parayko slides it across to McDavid. He was poke checked there by Ryan. McDavid back on it for Eberle. Back to McDavid. It finds Parayko. Across to Nugent Hopkins. Works it in, shoots, tipped in the high slot there by Eberle. And the save made by Kincaid. McDavid holds. Down to Schwartz. To McDavid. To the goal line to Schwartz. Feeds it back. And a great stop there by Kincaid on the one-timer by Eberle. And now Parayko. Sky to knock that down. It's over his head. And back down to the Canadian zone.
2 chances for Eberle. One on a high tip from Nugent Hopkins. And the second one, the pass from behind the goal line from Jaden Schwartz.
Shots are 18-8 in favor of Canada. Shen drops it back to Barzal. Matt Barzal winds in. Drops it off to O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly feeds that back to Ekblad. To Barzal. Barzal to Ekblad. Cross he goes to Bailey. Back to Ekblad to Barzal. That pass almost intercepted there by Gibbons, and Ekblad gets a long shot away. Kincaid makes the save, and there's no rebound.
And Jordan Eberle's first year in Long Island was a success. 25 goals for him, and he finds a little quiet spot to take the pass from Schwartz. I don't know that he gets a lot on it, but Kincaid has to make the glove stop on Eberle.
See the Canadian stickers, the Hockey Canada logo with the green and gold who won to the Humboldt Broncos. As Martinez has that clearing attempt bounce into the Canadian bench 34 seconds ago in the American penalty.
A moment of silence before the game.
Yeah.
To remember the people that lost their lives in Humboldt in the bus crash, and of Jim Johansson, the longtime USA Hockey management. He did just about everything for USA Hockey. Passed away just on virtually the eve of the Olympics.
25 seconds ago in the power play. Barzal with it. Steps around Larkin. And Matt Barzal trying to hook that back. Now it's held by Bailey. Back to O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly drops it off to Barzal. Matt Barzal. Swings it back to Ekblad. That shot went off the stick of Martinez and wide. Now Bailey back on it. As Atkinson steps back on for Team USA. Loose puck in front of O'Reilly. Turned away by Kincaid. And Kincaid will hang on to that.
And Keith Kincaid has been really sharp. He has not only just been tested by a lot of shots, he's had high quality to deal with. That's a strong move below the goal line from O'Reilly. I like that as the pass comes to O'Reilly, he doesn't wait for it. He attacks as the pass is on the way, grabs it and spins, but Kincaid's sharp. He gets those pads flat to make the stop.
International hockey has really been the salvation for Ryan O'Reilly the last few years. 2 gold medals for Canada at the World Championship, another at the World Cup. As Pajot brings it in now for Canada. Jean-Gabriel Pajot. Down to Horvat. Now Dubois centers it, and Pajot gets a soft shot on goal, and that's gloved by Kincaid, and he'll hang on.
The U.S. has 8 shots on goal tonight. They got 3 goals. Anders Lee scores to make it 2-1. Early in the second period, Dylan Larkin takes this deflected shot and tucks it in. And then Kane to Goudreau. He beats Darcy Kemper. And in a game the U.S. has been outplayed for much of, they lead 3-2.
Canada had a 2-0 lead in this game, less than 8 minutes in. Face-off won by Atkinson. The bouncing puck goes to Larkin. Dylan Larkin grew up in Detroit. Played his minor hockey there. Went to the U.S. National Development Program in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Played at the University of Michigan. Got drafted by Detroit. Played a little bit for Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now plays for the Red Wings.
He's really branched out. Seen a lot of the world, hasn't he? What a What a remarkable path to end up at home.
He has literally played his entire hockey career, except for Grand Rapids, within a 30-minute drive of the house he grew up in. Kreider plays that back, no one there. Nugent Hopkins waiting for it. He's got Jaden Schwartz with a McDavid jumping in. Here comes McDavid with Schwartz. Played across. Schwartz look at all of that, and Kincaid got the rest of it. Now a wraparound try for McDavid. That's knocked away by Larkin and sent back down the ice.
Man, I can watch McDavid go through the middle of the ice. That is, he just covered it, the neutral zone in about 3 strides.
Now Kane throws it back in front, picked off by Pajot. And Nurse waiting for it with 5.5 to go in the second period. That pass picked off by Kane. Parayko back on it. And back to pick it up is Quinn Hughes.
Canada has not rostered Joel Edmondson, the St. Louis Blues defenseman. He's here, he's practiced, dealing with a little bit of a groin issue. They think he's going to be fine, but they won't register him until they're sure.
Canada officially has 3 spots open. The United States has 2. Lead pass to Horvat. In behind Goodrow. Horvat works in, and Hughes raced back to knock that away. Canada changing as Horvat centers it. Picked off by Goodrow. What a move there around O'Reilly. Goodrow winds his way in. Johnny Goodrow drops it back to Kane. Feathers it back, and Pionk missed on that one-timer.
Could you imagine a season of watching Johnny Goodrow and Patrick Kane playing together?
In comes Kane again. Fans on that pass. And Murray steps into him. Pionk plays it across to Osterley. Back to Pionk. Steps around Bailey. That long shot goes off the stick with Kane and wide. Shen back on it. Brayden Shen to Aaron Ekblad. Up to Murray. And Ryan Murray works in. Another injury ravaged year for Ryan Murray of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Missed 34 games with a bad back. He's missed 148 games in 5 years in the NHL. Broken hand, ripped up knee, you name it. In comes Colin White now. Drops it back. Pionk hammers that shot wide. And Murray back on it. Shen lifts it into Beauvillier. Martinez back defending as Beauvillier works in on him. Fresh legs on the ice for Canada as Barzal picks it up. And Barzal drops it back. That shot fired by Eberle, but blocked by Pionk. Now Shabbat comes into the place offside at the USA line. Canada down 3-2 here in the second. Denmark, it's a 3-2 lead for Team USA on Canada in Copenhagen. Kirill Kaprizov has just scored. It's 4-0 for the Russians against France. Kaprizov has 3 points on the afternoon so far.
Minnesota can't get him out fast enough.
2 more years they got to wait. 2 more years, yep. Signed a 3-year deal last fall.
It was outstanding at the Olympics. He's such a driven offensive player. Explosive speed, terrific hands, a real knack around the net.
And the core of that Russian gold medal team from Pyeongchang is at this World Championship. As Murphy got his loose puck, finds Larkin. And Shabbat races back on him. Shabbat up ahead for McDavid. He's got Schwartz and Nugent Hopkins with him. Connor McDavid. Through the middle for Schwartz, back in front. Nugent Hopkins put that wide. What a 3-way passing play that was. Now Schwartz drops it back. Nurse with the drive, and Kincaid makes the glove save on Darnell Nurse.
And that puck got in a little tight on Nurse's feet, so he wasn't able to really hammer it But we've seen the last couple of shifts, McDavid's found some room in the middle of the ice, and when he goes, everybody retreats so quickly because they know they're going to get burned if they stay up on the play. McDavid's got the defense. Martinez backed way deep. He finds Schwartz, and that pass to Nugent-Hopkins is maybe a little tight to his foot as well as he shovels it wide to Kincaid.
We've met lots of Canadians on the streets here in Heritage. More and more come over for this annual event. Off the face-off win, Beauvillier walks in and fires that wide. Barzal tried to poke it home at the side of the goal. Now Eberle back on it. Gibbons tied up by Beauvillier. And Derek Ryan swings that rink wide. A long shot by Butcher, handled by Kemper. As Ryan is back on it. Colton Parayko up for Beauvillier. Racing back is Nick Jensen as Barzal tried to poke that away. Beauvillier to an open wing to Murray, who jumps up. Ekblad hops over the boards. Now Barzal try to feed it back to Ekblad. Barzal gets it back. And threads that pass to Ekblad. Long wrist shot, Kincaid save. Loose puck in front. Beauvillier scores! Anthony Beauvillier and the rebound. The game is tied at 3.
And New York Islanders line clicks for a goal here as they are all over the front of the net. And eventually Beauvillier, who had a breakaway in the first that was poked away by a nice play by Quinn Hughes, is going to get to this puck. Barzal hanging on to the puck. He'll hold on to it longer than almost anybody in the NHL. Ekblad's shot is stopped. Eberle's in front, rattling around, looking for the loose puck, and eventually Beauvillier will come across the front of the net, and he gets to the puck first in front of Nick Jensen, and he beats Kincaid over the shoulder. And Canada has come back to tie the game at 3.
Just 20 years of age as Anthony Beauvillier scored 21 goals this year for the Islanders. 5 New York Islanders on the Canadian roster as O'Reilly gets taken down by Osterley. Jordan Osterley throws that across to Coleman. And Blake Coleman up ahead for Goodrow with Kane. I mentioned Coleman on this line with Kane and Goodrow has a specific job. As Hughes plays it across. Lead pass for Shan. In on Hughes, and Quinn Hughes stays with him and wins that battle for the puck. You were never the stunt dummy on your line, were you? Centering pass, tipped just wide by Hughes, who had jumped in.
And late in my career, I played with Ilya Kovalchuk and Danny Heatley.
Okay, so you were.
So I was. You just skate around and get them the puck, and eventually, if there's no other options, they pass it back to you.
Now Connor Murphy, a drive that goes off a stick and high. Picked loose by Kane. Patrick Kane. Flips it back for Coleman, goes back to the line. Murphy's got a lane, walks in and shoots, and a glove save by Kemper as we enter the final minute now of the second period.
A pass missed in the slot and goes all the way to the back door to Connor Murphy. This is the previous play. Patrick Kane finds Quinn Hughes. Hughes had actually started the play at the far blue line. He poked the puck away from Braden Shen, and he got up into the rush. Kane finds Hughes, who just tips it back. A really shifty, dynamic skater.
Not often you see a guy on a deep country's roster playing the World Junior and the World Championship in the same year. Of course, if you're Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for Canada, you played in the World Championship before you played in the World Junior. Oh, Murphy, big hit there on Horvat. And Horvat takes out his frustrations on Dylan Larkin. Dylan Larkin's got to be thinking, what did I do there?
Every once in a while, you get reminded that it's not, oh, you're just kind of easing into the tournament. That will be a moment for Horvat.
Dan Atkinson shoots, gets down to Kemper, who knocks that away. And there's McDavid back with it. He's got Dubois with him. McDavid jumping ahead. Taken down on the play by Nick Jensen. It's been Jensen head-to-head a lot against this McDavid line. I mentioned Team USA as the home team has the last change. Nick
Jensen's a terrific skater. Maybe the player most able to stay laterally with McDavid.
Nugent-Hopkins down to McDavid. Moves away from Butcher, drops it back to Nugent Hopkins, bunts that back in front, and Schwartz couldn't find it. Time expires here in the second period. Beauvillier, the tying goal after Team USA had taken the lead. It's 3-3 through 40 minutes. Our second intermission is coming up.
So it was a big goal for us, and hopefully we can get better in the third.
It's not about the blade. It's the shaving gel that matters. IIHF Ultra Wide Technology. For ultra-class shave without irritating your skin. IIHF, the art of shaving. Introducing the 2018 IIHF. Player statistics. Team statistics. Live updates. And introducing Guessing Game. Predict each game's final score. Rewards and compete with hockey fans around the world. From any smart device in your own language. The 2018 IIHF app, powered by Skoda. Download it now from the Apple App Store and Google Play. Skoda. Simply clever.
Does that go first page?
Down to you. You take like one step up, and the saucer goes forward. You go out there. Yeah. Cool. Go by
Has played a ton in this opening game of the World Hockey Championship, more than any other skater, over 18 minutes through 2 periods of play. Ekblad back at the World Championship, last played it in 2015, won a gold medal with Team Canada there. And Keith Kincaid has faced 31 shots in the first 2 periods of this game.
It's been outstanding.
31-11 the shots after 40 minutes.
And the first 15 minutes, Canada had all kinds of chances, and Kincaid was outstanding. Darcy Kemper's had a bit of a tough afternoon here for Canada. Just, as you mentioned, Gord, just 11 shots on goal. He's given up to 3.
Canada back in action on Sunday against Korea.
Well, the linesman and Jeff Blashill are in a pretty animated conversation.
I wonder if that's back to the too many men call in the second period. They probably had a chance to watch the video of it. In the National Hockey League, you have to actually play the puck or play someone when you come on to get called for it. Normally if the puck hits your stick or your skate, they don't call it. You have to intentionally do something. Here it's far more stringent. And the crease rule can be befuddling to players who aren't used to it as well. Remember Patrick Maroon a couple years ago?
Yeah, that was incredible, actually. He just couldn't get it right for the longest time in that tournament.
Here's McDavid, back to Nugent Hopkins. Jaden Schwartz trying to get free. And McDavid gets bumped there by Jensen. They go nose to nose again. Now Schwartz and Nugent Hopkins trying to kick that free. And Alec Martinez quite happy to keep it right there. Martinez up along the boards for Atkinson. That's knocked down by Schwartz. Jaden Schwartz drops it down to McDavid, throws it back in front. What a stop in tight by Kincaid on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
It's an amazing cycle. So well executed by Nugent-Hopkins, Schwartz, and McDavid. And at the end of it, it's Keith Kincaid. Schwartz steals the puck, and he's going to find McDavid at the goal line. Now look at Nugent-Hopkins. He doesn't come in too fast. He waits into the quieter area of the ice. Chris Kreider goes to the back door because he sees Aaron Ekblad has gone down, and that leaves Nugent-Hopkins all alone. Probably got to elevate that puck as he sees the play on the big board. That puck from that distance has to go up. Nugent-Hopkins shot stopped by the pad of Keith Kincaid.
Dubois spun around by Oakley rather. And now picked up by Pionk. In his international debut for Team USA, sends it down. And play is called. Here's a look at what Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has done so far this afternoon.
He's been close a lot. That's in the first period. A tip of Darnell Nurse's pass. Stopped on the doorstep again and cued this one wide in the second period. I found on the wing, Nugent-Hopkins finds areas to shoot the puck more than he does in the middle. Some guys can generate the shot in the middle of the ice. Nugent-Hopkins seems more apt to shoot the puck on the wing. It certainly was a highly productive player when Edmonton tried him on the wing with McDavid.
Tied a career high with 24 goals, missed 18 with broken ribs. As Johnny Goodrow works in, nifty move by Goodrow. And now Parayko back with it. Nurse to center ice to Ryan O'Reilly, who chips that down. And Jordan Osterling swings back to pick it up. Up ahead to Coleman, that pass picked off by Shabbat. Out to center for Bailey. Josh Bailey finds Braden Shen, drops it back to O'Reilly, shoots, and Kincaid knocks that away. Osterley had his pass picked off by Bailey. And Osterley gets it right back. 2 gone here in the third period. And this game is tied at the regulation. A 5-minute 3-on-3 sudden death overtime, and then if necessary, a shootout.
And in reminder, you get a win in regulation, it's 3 points. Overtime will be 2 points, and the loser of overtime gets 1. Which becomes quite a factor later in the tournament as teams are jockeying for those positions. How about in the next level tournament to qualify for next year's?
Yeah,
Italy qualified. Both teams had the goalie pulled at the end.
That shot by Ryan deflects just wide. Yeah.
They each needed a goal in regulation, so they somehow both ended up with the goalie out. And Italy scored with 2.5 seconds left.
And they got in, and Great Britain got in. So Great Britain's going to be in the top group of the World Championship for the first time since '94.
This will be the first tournament I've ever been at as a player or a broadcaster that Great Britain will have been in.
So Great Britain was a power at this tournament in the early years, in the early 1900s, because so many Canadians at that time were British subjects. How about that, though?
That's
next year's tournament will be in Bratislava and Kosice in Slovakia. So 2 teams relegated out of this event. Slovakia, by the way, has immunity, can't be relegated because it's the host nation next year.
Remember a couple of years ago, it looked like France was going to get relegated, but couldn't because they were the host last year.
drops for Barzal. The centering pass goes right back to him, and the save in tight again by Kincaid. This is the Keith Kincaid who went 11-1-1 down the stretch for New Jersey and got that team to the playoff.
Scott Darling from Carolina is their backup.
And wait till you see the pads he's got going in this tournament. He looks like Evel Knievel.
There's no question what country he's playing for.
6-0 Russia in the third period in Copenhagen. Kirill Kaprizov is running amok over there, and Pavel Datsyuk just scored the 6th Russian goal.
Canada quickly on the turnover. We've seen this afternoon time and time again, the puck gets turned over. It's so fast going back up the ice. This is this Islander line again, Eberle, Barzal, and Beauvillier, and Barzal with 2 chances about 10 feet in front of Keith Kincaid. And the Islander turned away by the Devils.
At Barzal, 85 points in 82 games for the Islanders. The overwhelming favorite to win the Calder Trophy. The centering pass goes to Larkin. He scores! Dylan Larkin banks it by Kemper, and the United States is back on top.
This is a lot like Anders Lee's goal in the first period. Canada overcommits on one side of the ice. It's one nifty little pass, and it turns into a 2-on-1. Larkin's going to get his 2nd goal of the game as a result of Canada all of a sudden breaking down in the middle of the ice. You see Darnell Nurse is close, pinched up on Larkin. Larkin beats him off the blue line. And a really nice chip pass by Chris Kreider sends Larkin in the clear. And like Lee, beats Kemper on the blocker side. That's 3 on the blocker side of Kemper today. And Dylan Larkin has given the U.S. their first lead, 4-3. Oh, actually they led 3-2 earlier before Beauvillier tied it in the second period.
And that's 4 goals on 12 shots for Team USA. Quinn Hughes lays it back in deep. And Murray plays it across to Pajot. Jean-Gabriel Pajot, the Ottawa Senators. Looks that return pass, but the play is called offside at the U.S. line.
Dylan Larkin had 16 goals for the Red Wings this year. He's got 2 this afternoon. Kreider's got 2 assists. He deflected that shot through Kemper's legs, and Larkin put it away. And here Larkin blazes into the open ice. He beats Canada off the blue line, gets past Nurse to take the Kreider pass and give the United States the lead again.
And the line that we thought was getting the checking assignment against the McDavid line has scored twice already.
I would say, Gord, that's the way the new checking lines are constructed. It's not like before where you could just defend and hold on to people. You've got to be able to attack. You've got to be able to score. You've got to be able to skate. And Dylan Larkin will be a matchup center throughout his career because he can skate. If you can put 70 points on the board, well, then you really got money.
Icing call against Team USA. Larkin played the World Junior Championship in 2015. Led that tournament with 5 goals in 5 games. We mentioned Jeff Blashill's prize center in Detroit. Now Pulock with a shot that goes wide, bounces down to Kincaid, and he'll hang on to that.
Even though it's the first game of the tournament, you see the way that the coaches coach their lineup. Jeff Blashill's shrunk his bench already. And Sonny Milano's just had a couple of shifts in the game. They made the switch with Colin White and Blake Coleman that's paid off in the goal for Johnny Gaudreau. First of 7 in the preliminary round.
McDavid's shown up, so Nugent Hopkins will step in. And a scramble draw won by Larkin. Like a lot of young players, Larkin was told to improve on his face-off play. As Kreider works back in, centers it, that goes wide. Again, trying to find Larkin. It was spilled there by Nugent Hopkins. Atkinson had a stick with him by Schwartz, who got knocked down. And now Schwartz has it back, along with McDavid. Thomas Chabot jumping in as Schwartz chips that in deep. Played around by Nick Jensen. And now Gaudreau flips it ahead to Larkin. Back to Johnny Gaudreau with Team USA changing. Johnny Gaudreau buys some time, shoots, it goes off the foot of Parayko. Right back to Gaudreau. Plays it down to Patrick Kane. In comes Kane, nifty move, a backhand shot, and Kemper makes the save on him.
And he can dance into the open ice. He doesn't need much room to get clean of the defender. And once he gets about 10 feet to attack, it's so tough for Nurse because he's standing still to be able to take the ice away. Gaudreau had pulled everybody up towards the blue line, and Kane gets to the middle and forces Kemper into a good stop.
Played back by Tage Thompson, that point shot. Dion goes wide. And over the head of Quinn Hughes and back down the ice. Hughes back forward. His last game against Canada was outdoors at the World Junior Championship in Buffalo.
Remember how clear that day started? And we were thinking about, man, the brightness of the afternoon is going to be a problem until about 3 feet of snow fell.
2 words, lake effect. Turned into a snow globe that game. Now that pass picked off by Nurse, but in turn, Hughes gets it back for Coleman. Coleman drops it back for Gaudreau. That pass intercepted by Horvat. Murphy slides it back ahead to Hughes. And Quinn Hughes wrists that down to the Canadian zone. Picked up by Kane. After Kane leaves it back, and Hughes along wrist shot. Kemper gets an arm on that. puts the puck up and out of play. 13:35 to go here in the third period. The USA leads Canada 4-3.
I was doing asleep. He hadn't quite calculated the time change, I don't think yet.
It can be tricky. Korea was a lot tougher than
that.
Add a day, subtract 2 hours, flip it over. Ekblad back for it. This pass picked off by Kane. Back down to Coleman. Down to Goodrow. Kane, with 3 Canadians around him, holds the puck for a moment and finally worked free as Bailey slides it ahead to Ryan O'Reilly. In goes Shen. Goodrow had that pass knocked down by Bailey. Bailey back at the point for Murray. Across he goes to Ekblad. Aaron Ekblad shoots. Get a leg in front of backhand shot by Shen. Turn around Kincaid. And now Goodrow back on it. Johnny Goodrow flips that ahead to Coleman. And Coleman's pass hit Bailey. Shen trying to keep it alive and does, but now Will Butcher back to pick it up. And here is Larkin. Butcher to Murphy. High in the air, glove down by Pulock. They call it a hand pass in the Canadian zone.
Shen's going to have an opportunity here on the point shot that's knocked down, and Kincaid bats it away from the side of the net. Shen, his first year in St. Louis, was a terrific one, 70 points. Back to center where was his natural position. He had played much of the last couple of years on the wing in Philadelphia.
In comes Martinez, centers it, knocked away by Kemper. Waiting for it is Nugent Hopkins. Finds McDavid in stride. Connor McDavid for Jaden Schwartz. The centering pass goes off the leg of Larkin, hustling back. And now Kreider has it back. His pass picked off at center ice by Nugent Hopkins. And Kreider puts it over the Canadian net as Pulock is back to pick it up. And Pulock, native of Dauphin, Manitoba. Off for Horvat, that pass misfired. And Martinez is back to pick it up. Lead pass for Anders Lee. Drops it back to Derek Ryan. Ryan got spun around, and Dubois lost his stick as Ryan's centering pass was off a stick into the corner. DeBrincat spins and shoots. That was blocked by Pulock. And now Lee down to Ryan. Anders Lee pumping there with Pulock. Islander teammates going after the puck, and now Chabot has it back. For Pajot, Jean-Gabriel Pajot, lead pass for Horvat. Horvat trying to work that around, but Pionk stayed with him. This puck goes to Dubois. And Pierre-Luc Dubois tries to muscle that down to Horvat. Osterley got in the way. Horvat in shoots, and Kincaid makes a stop on that. comes Pionk with it. Shoots, and Kemper makes the stop. And the bouncing puck goes right to Brian Gibbons. Gibbons around Parayko. Centering pass and a save in tight by Kemper on Gibbons. Will Butcher back with it. Up ahead to White. Colin White began the game on the top line for Team USA. Got moved down after being on for a couple of goals against. Now Everly pokes it ahead. Plays onside for Barzal. Barzal holds for a moment, and a great diving play by Connor Murphy to knock that away. Midway point of the third period. Team USA a 4-3 lead on Canada. Beauvillier lays it down to Barzal. Trying to find O'Reilly. Now Ryan O'Reilly spins free. Drops it back to Barzal. And Barzal spins away from Martinez. Drops it back to Murray. Ryan Murray threads that pass across to Ekblad. Walking, flips it back in front. Bouncing puck, and Kincaid's got it. As Ryan O'Reilly couldn't find the bouncing puck. Back to Herning, Denmark in just a moment. Larkin has scored twice for Team USA. And once again, as the McDavid line comes on, Larkin goes over the boards to face off against it. McDavid's -3 this afternoon.
Also having some trouble in the face-off circle. It's not been an easy afternoon for this line.
A little different look here. You've got O'Reilly in the offensive zone to take the draw.
Yeah, O'Reilly instead of Schwartz.
And he wins the draw. Looked at by Nurse. It's amazing how good he is at it year after year.
Really quick hands. He's strong. Has a real knack for.
Now McDavid throws it back. Parayko scores! Just like that, the line clicks. And McDavid finds Parayko, who ties the game at 4.
We showed earlier in the period the cycle that went from below the goal line. McDavid got it out front to Nugent Hopkins. This time, McDavid's below the goal line, and he's going to find Colton Parayko coming on the back door. Nugent Hopkins starts the play by getting to the puck on the face or on the half wall. O'Reilly's going to poke it and keep it alive to McDavid. Head up the whole way past, right on the tape of Parayko past the outstretched stick of Dylan Larkin, and Colton Parayko has tied the game at 4.
Showed up, as we mentioned, midway through the tournament last year, scored 3 goals in 6 games, so now has 4 goals in 7 career games for Canada at the World Hockey Championship.
Came in, timed that perfectly, and the pass from McDavid was right in the right spot so he could one-time it off the strong side.
Now Coleman works in. He's got Kane with him. And back comes Schwartz to break that up.
50-48.
Jaden Schwartz across the line. The pass bounces across to Bailey. Now picked off behind the goal. The centering pass from Shen to Schwartz just missed. And Goodrow back with it. Shen and Schwartz on the same line.
What could go wrong there?
At Colorado College, they had Schwartz, and Schultz as line mates for a season. Need an umbrella if you sit in front of that play-by-play guy. Derek Ryan works in. Back at the point, and that shot fired wide by Pionk. Anders Lee. Bumping there with Pulock. Those two Islander teammates are once again battling as they have throughout the afternoon. And it's picked free by DeBrincat. Alex DeBrincat throws that to an open corner. And Chabot chomps at that. Lee. Works to the side of the goal. Anders Lee feeds it back. Hughes. Across the Pionk. Along wrist shot goes wide. 7:45 to go in the third period. Hughes goes back to pick it up. And a rink-wide pass. Bounced off the stick of White. Held at the line by Nick Jensen. He finds Gibbons. That hard pass bounced right in front. And Nurse falls as White picks up the loose puck. Gibbons plays it back to Hughes. Across to Jensen. And now Brian Gibbons back with it. Drops it off to Martinez, fresh off the bench. Alec Martinez centers it, and Kemper knocked that away. Here's Eberle. Spins away from Gibbons. Brings it around for Parayko. And Parayko lifts that ahead. Beauvillier leaves it there for Eberle. Jordan Eberle, Canada's all-time leading goal scorer at the World Junior Championship with 14 in 10 games. In comes Larkin with it now. Larkin drops it off to Butcher. A long shot, glove save made by Kemper, and back is Barzal with it. At Barzal. Steps around Kreider. Barzal pivots back in the corner, drops it back to Ekblad. A long wrist shot, chopped down by Larkin. He's got Kreider with him. Ahead comes Kreider. In behind Murray, and Murray combines with Ekblad. Two great skating defensemen to snuff out that run. And back is Murphy to pick it back up for Team USA. Chipped in now by Atkinson. And back goes Ryan Murray for it. Long lead pass to O'Reilly. Back out there with McDavid and Nugent Hopkins. Picked out by McDavid. Now Kane sidesteps O'Reilly. Rink-wide, he goes for Goodrow. Up after Coleman. Got his pocket picked there by Parayko. O'Reilly quickly ahead for Nurse, who's jumped in. Darnell Nurse. Slides it behind the American goal. O'Reilly goes in on Jensen. Picks it free for Nugent Hopkins. And Ryan Nugent Hopkins got spun around there by Coleman. Now McDavid centers it, knocked down by Martinez. And Coleman gathers it back up. Long time between whistles here in the third period. As Parayko swings back to pick it up for Canada. Parayko scored 6 goals in his first 9 National Hockey League games.
I think there almost became an expectation that he was going to be a big scorer. That's really not been the case. It's such a hard shot.
Ryan shovels that towards the goal. Kincaid knocked down the first couple of shots and eats up the third. 4:51 to go here in a tied third period. Parayko has the tying goal, the 24-year-old native of St. Albert, Alberta. He didn't get a lot of college offers, wound up going to Alaska Fairbanks for 3 years. He's a third-round pick of St. Louis in 2012, who just signed a 5-year extension with the Blues. 4-4 is the score. 7-0 Russia with the lead late on France in Copenhagen. Now Larkin for the offensive zone face-off against Pajot, wins it back to Kane, to Osterley. Kane takes it back, and that wrist shot tipped high and wide as Larkin got a stick on that. Osterley down to Larkin.
And Larkin out here with Kane and Goudreau.
Ryan Murray steps into Larkin, who shields him off. Larkin stays on it. Crisscrossing there with Goudreau. Back to Kane. And Patrick Kane tied up by Pajot. Goudreau back on it now. Knocked down by Ekblad. Play continues. Ekblad skating right over Goudreau there. And now Pajot has it back. Lead pass finds Horvat in on Osterley. Horvat trying to work that free. Oh, and a big hit there by Dubois. That's going to be a penalty as he leveled Pionk.
That's a bad hit by Dubois.
And a power play coming for Team USA with 4 to go in the third period.
Earlier in the shift, it started to get a little heated. Dubois took a pretty good run. Both officials are talking here. This might be a 5-minute major for Dubois. There was the hit.
So call it boarding.
The two officials got together, discussed 2 or 5. 2 it is. And that's probably not that far from a 5.
First U.S. power play race is the early stages of the first period.
As you see, Pionk is directly square to the boards. Dubois hits him. The U.S. on their power play way back in the first, they ended up taking a penalty on the power play. So it was a shortened version. Their second of the game. Canada has 2 as well.
Shots are 40-19 in favor of Canada. Now the United States will go on the power play. They'll have Butcher and Goudreau back on the points. Check that. It'll be Atkinson and Butcher back at the point. Lee, Kane, and Goudreau up front. And O'Reilly wins the face-off for Canada. Parayko off the boards and down the ice. And Ryan O'Reilly, the first man on the puck for Canada. O'Reilly pivots back and lays it back for Parayko. Wrist that back down to the American zone. As we mentioned, if it's tied after regulation, 5 minutes of sudden death, overtime, 3-on-3, and then if necessary, a 5-round shootout. The IIHF tweaked the overtime and shootout rules again in the offseason. Pajot knocks it down and plays it back to center.
Before the U.S. took that penalty on the early power play, they didn't have anything going. One iffy shot by Anders Lee was it. They haven't even come close yet.
Nugent Hopkins out there battling with Goudreau. Back at the point is Butcher. Will Butcher in for Goudreau. His cross-ice pass goes to Kane. Inside 3 to go in the third. Patrick Kane being watched by Nugent Hopkins. Flips it back to Butcher. Now Butcher, a long shot, tipped in front. Kemper makes the save. The rebound cleared by Parayko, but not out. And now it does get by Goudreau. A chance for Schenn there, but Goudreau reached back and took that away. Bouncing puck down to the U.S. zone, and Butcher back to pick it up. Welcome those of you who are watching Russia and France from Copenhagen here in Herning. A 4-4 tie between Canada and the United States. 25 seconds to go in a Team USA power play. It's second of the game. The U.S. has led twice. Canada had a 2-0 lead early on. Quinn Hughes had that poked away by O'Reilly. He's away along with Schwartz. And O'Reilly short-handed. Pivots back on Derek Ryan. Works it back in deep and wins that battle for the puck. His centering pass missed Ekblad. Larkin has it back. Final seconds now the power play. In comes Chris Kreider. Kreider, as Dubois steps back on the ice. 2 shots for the U.S. on that power play. Poked away now by McDavid. Bouncing puck, McDavid gathers it back up. Canada's changing as McDavid drops it back and takes the return pass from Josh Bailey. McDavid's centering pass knocked down by DeBrincat. And Alex DeBrincat across the line, drops for Coleman. Back to DeBrincat, walks in and fires. Kemper makes the save. Rebound loose in front. And Nurse knocked that away. The Brinket in deep for Gibbons. Now Coleman a wraparound try. And Kemper makes a stop on that. 1:25 to go in the third period.
A couple good stops for Kemper. The second one was on Blake Coleman. Really good penalty kill by Canada. Really no danger in front of Kemper as they kept the U.S. to the outside. Really gave them no zone time to get set up and be dangerous.
The United States will take on the host Danes tomorrow. And then Germany on Monday. Welcome viewers on the NHL Network as well, tuning in on the opening day of the 2018 World Hockey Championship. Lee for Martinez. Anders Lee dropped it for Martinez and now played back in deep for Lee, who's tied up there by Murray. Lee bumping again with Murray. And Ekblad pokes it free for Horvat. Final minute now of the third period. Horvat, a rink-wide pass for Ekblad, and he won't get there in time. Icing called against Canada. And the Canadians won't be able to change, so O'Reilly won't be able to take this draw.
Immediately, the U.S. sends Goudreau, Larkin, and Atkinson here.
Yeah. It'll be Horvat for the face-off against Larkin.
Canadian guys are doubled over here. They're pretty tired. Don't forget, you just had a little bit of a weak camp, only one exhibition game, but haven't played very much lately. A long shift really taxes you.
Ekblad went to the bench for a new stick to try to buy some time. As Larkin feeds it across to Butcher. Will Butcher is shot, and Kemper steers that away. Pajot backhands it around for Murray. 30 seconds to go in the third. Dubois tied up by Nick Jensen. But Horvat gathers up the loose puck, and Canada can change as Horvat chips it in deep. 20 seconds to go in the third period. Larkin out to center ice, knocked down by Nurse. On comes McDavid with O'Reilly and Nugent-Hopkins as time winds down here in regulation. And Canada and the United States will go to overtime in their opener at the 2018 World Championship. Shots 40-23 for Canada. Regulation, overtime, and perhaps a shootout to come.
As the score is tied after regular time, a 5-minute shot victory. Overtime will be followed after a 3-minute intermission.
And here's Ekblad with it. McDavid drops it back to Ekblad. Leaves it there for McDavid. In comes McDavid across the line. Drops it back to Ekblad. Walking in area. Ekblad holds. And the puck bounced off his skate. Now Ekblad back with it. Drops it off to McDavid. McDavid to Nugent Hopkins. Now the centering pass. Martinez fell. And McDavid couldn't get much on that as Kincaid makes the stop. McDavid almost won it right there.
Martinez is going to blow a shoe deep in the corner here. And once he falls down, Nugent Hopkins wants to go across and catches McDavid close to his feet. And Kincaid's able to get across, the puck hits the side of the net. You see how quickly, once you attack the zone, it's really not the guy with the puck where the danger is. You see all this movement away from the puck. Everybody working to find a little bit extra room or a pass lane.
Now Barzal faces off against Coleman. You got Barzal, Schwartz, and Parayko for Canada. Goodrow, Atkinson, and Murphy for Team USA. Barzal. Lines away from Atkinson. Matt Barzal works in with Schwartz. Barzal and then rush rolls down to Kincaid. And Kincaid will hang on to that. And then some late pushing and shoving. Murphy comes in on Barzal.
Barzal didn't like the way Murphy took him into the net, so he slashed him on top of the foot when he was getting up. Really the first crack of open ice where Barzal has been able to skate with a puck. Bill Peters gets McDavid and Nugent Hopkins back out, this time with Thomas Chabot.
Coleman to take the draw for Team USA out there along with Kreider and Martinez. McDavid taps that back, but Chabot has to retreat. And Chabot moves away from Coleman. Winds up the center ice. Coleman all over him. And Chabot gets stymied there by Martinez. But now Nugent Hopkins picks it free. In comes Nugent Hopkins, slides it across. McDavid a backhand shot. That goes wide. Now Chabot back with it. Finds McDavid. Steps around Coleman. McDavid trying to pull it back in front. Rolled off his stick. Penalty coming to Team USA. It'll be a holding call with 3.5 to go to overtime. So this will be a 4-on-3 power play as Blake Coleman goes on.
USA player number 25, Tim Solon.
The U.S. is hot because on the half wall earlier, right here, Chabot has got a hold of Alex Martinez's stick. That gives Nugent Hopkins a clean lane, so the hold wasn't called, but they were going to call the hook on Blake Coleman as McDavid went towards the far side of the net. Coleman is called.
And meantime, Bill Peters calls timeout for Canada. Canada had a power play in the second period when the United States got called for too many men. Canada had 2 shots on that man advantage. Of all the players on the Canadian roster, Ryan O'Reilly had the most power play goals in the regular season with 15 in the NHL.
And he's going to be out here. He'll start taking the draw with Nugent Hopkins and McDavid and Parayko. These are 4 of the 5 players that were on the ice when Parayko tied the score in the third period. Parayko's goal just inside of 10 minutes left. Knotted the game at 4. Canada with a great chance to win.
Larkin, Martinez, and Murphy defending against O'Reilly, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Parayko. And O'Reilly wins it cleanly back to Parayko, is able to hold the line. Colton Parayko slides it across to O'Reilly. Down to McDavid with Nugent Hopkins standing in front. McDavid winds in, plays it across. O'Reilly is shot that was blocked by Murphy. Knocked down by Parayko. Slides it back to McDavid. In comes McDavid. Head fake around Larkin. Spins back. Feeds Parayko. Back to McDavid. Cross ice pass to O'Reilly. Couldn't get the shot to go. Now Parayko back with it. To McDavid. Back across to O'Reilly. Again handcuffed. Feeds it back in front. Kincaid's down. A backhand shot taken there by Nugent Hopkins. And now off the board, but not out by Larkin. Parayko to O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly back to Parayko. To O'Reilly. Across to McDavid. Walks right in a jam play, the side of the goal. Nugent Hopkins knocks it down. Minute to go in the power play. 2.5 left here in overtime. Parayko to O'Reilly. Feeds it down to McDavid. And McDavid threads it back to Parayko to McDavid. McDavid slides it across to Parayko. Back to McDavid. Throws it back towards the goal. Knocked down by Murphy. Loose puck. Kincaid dives out for it. And these exhausted American penalty killers finally get a break after being out for a full minute and 20 seconds in their own zone.
35 seconds ago, Dylan Larkin had a clean clear and he fanned on it. And that put the U.S. back on their heels. All kinds of pressure around Kincaid. Canada can't find the game-winning goal. Is after Kincaid had stopped that shot that we just saw. That's where Larkin doesn't get it out of the zone. But they escape that one. Canada wins another draw, however.
Schenn wins it back to Ekblad. Schenn, Barzal, and Dubois out there. Matt Barzal trying to slide it across. Gibbons got a stick on that. Barzal holds the line. 25 seconds to go in the Canadian power play. Barzal swings it down to Ekblad. Pokes it down to Dubois. Rings it around for Schenn. And Schenn can't reach it. Gibbons goes racing ahead on Barzal. And Matt Barzal swings it to Ekblad. 10 seconds to go in the power play. Away comes Barzal. And across the line, Matt Barzal. Final seconds now. Coleman steps back on. Fed back to Schenn. Feeds it across. Ekblad fanned in that shot. Kincaid made the save, and Dubois couldn't reach the rebound. 2 shots for Canada on that power play. Now Coleman works in. Long shot that goes wide. As Kemper got a piece of that. Barzal swings it across for McDavid back out there. They crisscross at the line. Barzal. In behind the goal. Barzal bumped there by Coleman. Final minute now of overtime. Away comes Patrick Kane. Works in on Chabot, who stayed with him step for step, and McDavid has the loose puck. It'll stay on 4-on-4 until the next whistle, then it's back to 3-on-3. Chabot crisscrossing with McDavid. Thomas Chabot. Here's that down in the corner. In goes Horvat for it. Horvat wins that race to the puck. They've got poke check there by Hughes. Quinn Hughes, the 18-year-old out there for Team USA in the last minute of overtime, tied. Goodrow. Waiting for teammates to get back on side. He was taken down by McDavid. A penalty coming out to Canada. And if the United States doesn't score, this goes to a shootout. McDavid won't be able to shoot.
The U.S. will have 16.8 to try and score off the draw. But as you mentioned, Gord, the further implication is McDavid won't be able to shoot.
So now a timeout call by Team USA with 16.8 seconds left.
Timeout, USA.
So the officials are discussing that little technicality. It's been a long-standing International Ice Hockey Federation rule since they went to the shootout.
I like the rule, actually. If you're in the penalty box, how do you get to join the game again? Oh, you don't like the rule?
I do.
Oh, you just got to give me your shoulders. You could be supportive. We're on, we're not visually on TV here.
I agree. I agree. Larry, you happy now?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Thank you. Dylan Larkin will take the draw with Atkinson, Kane, and Goudreau. Of course, Ryan O'Reilly will be out for Canada.
And the puck trickles down towards the Canadian goal. Knocked back in the corner by O'Reilly. Time winding down here. The line held by Atkinson. Cam Atkinson in, shoots. Was off the leg of Murray and wide. And now O'Reilly gathers it up. And time winds down as O'Reilly sends it down. And Canada and the United States will go to a shootout. Now McDavid's got 2 choices here. He can stay in the penalty box or he can go to the dressing room. He cannot be on the Canadian bench.
So he's going to stay in the box because the dressing room is about a quarter of a mile away here. The goalies actually get brought to the arena in a golf cart. So McDavid will stay here by his lonesome in the penalty box, and Canada will have to come up with its shooters minus Connor McDavid.
So now you got 5 shooters. Bob Bugner on the left, Mike Yeo on the right, the assistant coaches to Bill Peters.
I think Eberle will be one, Shen will be one. Guessing along here, Jaden Schwartz, so very good at it.
So remember the IIHF rule in the shootout. If it's still tied after 5, then you can start.
Always included McDavid, so now they're high is one of his favorites.
Waiting for the go-ahead from the timekeeper's bench. And here we go. Matt Barzal on Keith Kincaid. And Barzal, there's the backhand off the crossbar.
Backhand chip high, just clips the top of the crossbar. He's got such fast hands. Watch once he moves the puck, how quickly it goes across Kincaid's body. And he just clips it across the top of the crossbar. And now here is Cam Atkinson.
Atkinson in on Kemper, score!
That's a pretty sweet move for Atkinson as he freezes. Kemper makes it look like he's going to the blocker. Kemper buys, and Atkinson goes across to his forehand and slides it into the open net.
Shooter number 2, Jordan Eberle of the New York Islanders. Races in, scores!
Eberle's had a long history of shootout success. Rattles this around through Kincaid's pads. It's 1-1, and here's Patrick Kane.
To restore the U.S. lead in round 2. Kane in on Kemper. Holds, and Kemper turns him away.
Once he loses his speed here, he's going to drag this into his feet to change the angle, but I think that makes it too easy for the goaltender to stay with you. Kane holds. And look at Kemper, he's just got to make one push. Makes the glove stop, and here's Braden Shen.
Braden Shen turned away. He was 3 for 3 in the NHL regular season, but stopped there. It remains 1-1.
Kane and Goudreau back-to-back for the U.S. after Kincaid gets the left pad onto Braden Shen's effort.
And Goudreau races in on Darcy Kemper. Johnny Goudreau, stop.
Interesting, two of the slickest players in the NHL, Kane and Goudreau, and they both shoot. Kemper stops them both. Goudreau wants to go 5-hole. Kemper puts it away.
Meantime, Connor McDavid stands watching in the penalty box. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins works in. He's turned away. And Kincaid didn't like that Nugent-Hopkins took a second shot in the rebound there. It remains 1-1.
Kincaid stays with him. Here's it's Quinn Hughes.
How about that? The 18-year-old. The freshman in Michigan turned away by the pad of Kemper. So 2 of the first 3 scored, and now 5 in a row have been stopped. And Bo Horvat will shoot for Canada. Horvat to give Canada the lead. Moves in, he's turned away by Kincaid. And now the United States can win it, and Larkin will shoot. Dylan Larkin. 2 goals in regulation time. Moves into the shootout, turned away. And so now it's on to round 6, and all bets are off. You can use anyone you want.
So do you go back to the guy that scored for you? Or do you try somebody new? Eberle and Atkinson are the goal scorers. Also flip over the order, right, too. So the U.S. will shoot again here.
Yeah, the U.S. will shoot first.
And they're going to go to Atkinson.
Into round 6.
Remember, Atkinson froze Kemper and went to the forehand. This becomes the mental game now. Do you go back to the same move or not? Oh,
nasty. Scores there. He's 2 for 2. And now Eberle has to score to extend it.
So Atkinson sold him on the forehand the first time. He goes to the backhand and puts it into the open net, and a save by Kincaid on Eberle will seal the deal.
In comes Eberle on Kincaid. Shoots, and Kincaid stops it. And the United States comes back from a 2-0 deficit and beats Canada 5-4 in a shootout in the opener for both teams at the 2018 Worlds.
Well, Kincaid made the save, and then he has to stay with it and kick the puck away, so if the puck had spun back into the net, it was kind of headed that direction, it would have counted. But Eberle scored earlier, stopped now, and with Connor McDavid in the penalty box for a late trip, Canada loses 5-4 to the United States.
In a game in which they outshot Team USA 44-24. By the way, Atkinson will get credit for a goal for scoring in the shootout. The game winner will count as a goal in the tournament. And now Now we'll get the player of the game presentation and the American national anthem. Just the third Canadian loss in 22 games over the last 4 years in the opening round of the World Championship.
5-4, and the game-winning goal was scored by number 89, Cam.
So the U.S. gets 2 points for the shootout win. Canada gets 1 for the loss. And the United States, of course, now holds the tiebreaker against Canada should they wind up even in the standing.
The best players of each team will be awarded with the official watch by TISO, official timekeeper of the 2018 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship. The prizes will be presented by Paul Sand, Chairman, Messecenter Herning, and Emi Fuya, Ambassador of Canada in Denmark. And the best player of Team Canada is player number 5, Aaron Ekblad.
These prizes, by the way, are chosen by the team management. So Canadians chose Aaron Ekblad as their player of the game.
And the best player from Team USA is number 1, Keith Kincaid.
Hard to argue with that. Faces 44 shots in regulation and overtime. And Kincaid, the 28-year-old from Farmingville, New York, is Team USA's player of the game.
From the very beginning of the game, Kincaid was outstanding. Canada played a pretty good game. Some sloppiness of both sides, but a highly entertaining opening.
For the national anthem of USA. Between Germany and Denmark. And get your official merchandise today. Don't forget to visit the IIHF merchandise tent in the fan zone and join the fan zone before and after each game. Music, food, entertainment, and lots of fun. Don't forget to get your tickets for the next game. Tickets can be bought at Ticketmaster's box office in the arena and in the fan zone. So don't forget to get your tickets for tomorrow's games.
exciting game to say the least. It always is when it's Canada and USA, but where you guys find yourself trailing early, you redeem yourselves. Where did you feel the momentum shifting back in your direction?
Yeah, you know what, I thought at the first period they kind of took over, and we gave them a little bit too much respect. You know, getting the puck and coming with speed, and they have a lot of weapons that when you give them time and space, they're going to make plays. But second period, I thought we went back to our game plan and just started taking over a little bit and kept it simple.
Shootout, you had to go twice one-on-one with Kemper. What was going through your mind in that instance when you're going through that?
Yeah, it's always fun going into a shootout. Used to going just 3 times or 3 shooters, but and I had no idea that you can repeat after the 5th round. But I felt good, felt confident, and happy to get a win against Canada.
These tournaments are all about building chemistry as quickly as possible. How did you feel about the combination between you and your line mates?
Yeah, I thought we played a good game. First period, you know, it was a little slow, but felt better as the game went on, just making plays and holding on to pucks, and found a way to get a couple big goals.
No time to rest. You'll get back at it tomorrow against Denmark. How do you prepare for that?
Yeah, we played against them in the exhibition. They're a good team, so you know the crowd's going to be buzzing for them. Just weather the storm there and have some fun.
Thanks so much. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Follow your heart. Only this way will you find your own
What started out as an early lead from Canada quickly dissolved into a wide open game. Could you sense from the start that this game could have the potential for scoring opportunities both ways?
Yeah, I think obviously we have both good teams, and I think the way that we play is not on the big ice, and it was an opportunity for both of us to kind of learn some things. Obviously, first game of the tournament, and I mean, like I said, both teams are elite level players, elite players that can make plays, and when you got an ice that size, you can do a lot of work out there.
This game extends to overtime. You guys had a massive opportunity with the man advantage, but simply could not capitalize. Is that something that will take place naturally, just developing chemistry, as you said, and getting to know each other on the ice?
Yeah, for sure. As the tournament goes on, I think that we're going to start to kind of recognize what players are going to be. We're going to learn how to play with each other more, and I just think as the tournament goes on, we're just going to become a better team, no matter if it's power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5 play. So I'm excited. We have a very good team, and it's going to be a lot of fun down the stretch.
A bit different for you. Last year, you joined the team in Paris midway through the tournament. What's the benefit of being here right from the get-go?
It's good. I got to kind of be in the mix right from the beginning, kind of learn the guys, got to be with the guys from the start. We got the opportunity to kind of bond together for a bit last week, and I mean, that's a key part. It's a little easier than just kind of coming into a group of guys that you've kind of never met.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Det handler om sammenhold. Vi knokler for hinanden. Vi skal kæmpe for hinanden. Hver for sig kan vi ikke vinde. Vi er stærke, når vi er sammen. Vi skal arbejde sammen. Det er vigtigt, at vi er der, når det gælder.